Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, before we start, what a wild time to be alive, right? Like every day, if you live in the United Kingdom, like every day there's scandal, there's chaos, there's carnage. Right now, we are Britain on the brink. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we are Britain on the brink. So right now, if you live in Britain, there are two options. Right now, there are two options, okay? Each one of those options are both equally as terrifying. So the first option is, right, Keir Starmer stays in power, which is terrifying. The second option is Keir Starmer does not stay in power, equally terrifying. So before we get onto this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to grab myself a cold one. I'm going to grab myself a cold one of the of my own brewed nectar. I'm going to have a little drink, and then we'll continue. So before I start on this, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to throw this out there. When I started doing these live streams, I started talking about war, Ukraine, the Middle East, tactics, because there was a lot of that stuff happening. I've now turned that focus onto what's happening mainland UK. And I am 100% convinced that we are heading towards a civil war that's not going to be very civil at all. The government right now in the United Kingdom is in absolute free fall. That's not me speculating. The government's in free fall. Earlier on, let me share this with you guys. This is from like a couple of minutes ago. I forgot how to share. Right, where are we? Earlier on, this was released on the BBC. Keir Starmer apparently got a standing ovation. Sorry, not standing ovation. Labour MPs applauded Keir Starmer at a meeting as PM fights for political survival after the Mandelson scandal. I can't even believe the stuff that's happening now. Can you imagine, right? Our grandparents, or maybe you're a little bit younger and your great grandparents, stormed the beaches of Normandy, right? Facing overwhelming odds under machine gun fire. For this? Fucking hell. Honestly. Would it be that bad if we all spoke German right now? Would it be that bad? Honestly, would it be that bad if we all spoke German right now? So Keir Starmer, right? Keir Starmer, the pinnacle of British excellence, the pinnacle of masculinity, the pinnacle of the very best man that Britain has. Keir Starmer is the best man that Britain has right now, and he is leading our country. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just start on my opening monologue. I'll then jump onto the chat, and then we'll see where we go. Earlier on, I had to do 2 live streams because you guys just sent me on an absolute. We went down on an absolute side quest. Earlier on this morning when I started the live stream, I had a direction and I just didn't get to that at all. So let me give you my live stream. We're on the live stream, and before we start at that nutshell, on that bombshell, make sure if you're on now, right now, ladies and gentlemen, can you hit those buttons below, the like, comment, subscribe, share, bell notification? Also, right. Right, I'm going to mention this again later on. I've got a live stream I want to do. I've been saying I'm going to do this now since like maybe Friday, maybe even Thursday. Every time I start to do this live stream and I start to like get the videos and right, I'll share that, then I'll say this, then I'll share that. Some more information comes out there. And it's wild. However, one of the main constructs of that video is going to be a snippet from a David Icke video, something he said on an interview. Now, I just found that his son, Gareth Icke, he must live 10 minutes from me. Honestly, guys, he did a video earlier on today, and he was walking somewhere that I go running, and like in Sheffield, it's called Rivelin Valley. he must only live 10 minutes from me, right? He lives in Derbyshire. I live at the edge of Sheffield. So we must only live 10 minutes away. I would love to get him on as a guest, or I would go there as a guest. So if you guys can do me a real big favor and hashtag Gareth Ike, because I'd really like to talk to him about some of the things of his family's USP, right? I'm totally respectful. I'm not going to be a douchebag, you know, saying anything's wrong. And I want to do this as like, not somebody that's like a debunker, but somebody that just wants to know more, because I genuinely want to know more about all this crazy stuff. You know, the blood sucking and the chill. I want to know more about this. And I want to use my logical mind and think, is there another explanation to this? Because I want to believe there's another explanation. But anyway, that's just, if you can do hashtag David Gareth Ike, that'd be great. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, men and women of Britain, first of all, we are being subverted right now beyond belief. We have international interference. We are bombarded with cyber warfare every day. You know what? I'll share it with you now. I'm going to share with you guys a video. This is absolutely... Am I going to... How long is it? Oh, it's 1 minute 20. I'll share it now and then I'll share it later on. So we are being absolutely bombarded now with subversion. If you live in the United Kingdom, we are 100% being subverted. So I'm going to share this video with you guys, and this is 100% subversion. So, you know, Amelia... Yeah, Amelia went full Lord of the Rings. I'm going to try and play this video out in a wanna. So this video was posted on Amelia's channel, and she's invoking the final battle in Lord of the Rings. Now, I love Lord of the Rings. I do. There's nothing that even comes close. And by the beard of Zeus and Odin's eye, I lived through that. Nothing invokes Christian men more than Lord of the Rings. It doesn't. Anyway, this is a reference to Lord of the Rings, and this is an Amelia video. Now, what she's screaming out to do, she's screaming for the men of Britain to fight. I personally think that's a terrible idea, but that's what she's saying. Okay, so first of all, before she starts this speech, right, I'm not sure how I feel about this. She's reworded Aragorn's speech at the final battle. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think it may be a little bit disrespectful to the source material, but whatever, we'll let it play.
Hold your ground! Hold your ground! Sons of England, of Scotland, of...
You want to know what ideological subversion looks like? That is pretty much it, guys. That is ideological subversion right there. That is ideological subversion 101. The same people who are producing that stuff, right, they will be producing counter stuff. You know how I talk to you guys and I say, look, This is how subversion works, right? There will be someone in a cell somewhere, maybe in Russia, maybe in China, maybe in North Korea, maybe in Iran, and they will be generating this stuff. That was expensive to generate, right? I can pretty much guarantee that there will be some sort of counter to this. There will be from the same group, literally the same group. If there's any computer AI forensic experts out there, you could probably find traits of the same things. So you would find what they will be doing is they will do another one to the Muslim community, to the woke community, and they'll be saying, Muslims, you came to this land to seek a better life, and you were thwarted, and they'll be, what they're doing is they're trying to play on these emotions to start a fight. I think the fight's coming anyway. I think the violence is inevitable, but just I wanted everybody to understand what ideological subversion looks like. I don't think anybody should be fighting. I think that it's all ridiculous. I think it's all like childish. I think we should build spaceships. Really? I think we should build spaceships. That's what I think. Anyway, let me just get on to this, guys, because I'm conscious that earlier on we've run out of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, people of Britain, men, women, children, boys, girls, Malinois, big dogs, little dogs, hamsters and gerbils. Whether you're in Leeds, Glasgow, Birmingham, Manchester, Sheffield, Newcastle, it doesn't really matter. Because what I'm about to say is not some far-fetched dystopian tale anymore. I'm not talking, I mean, look, right? If we saw, for me anyway, if somebody was to do a Netflix drama about the stuff that's come out in the Epstein files, about the stuff that's come out in the British government, I'd be like, yeah, that'd never happen. Literally, that's where I'd be right now. But no, ladies and gentlemen, this is not some dystopian tale. This is a stark warning based on the cracks that we are seeing right now with our own eyes. Remember, let your eyes tell you the truth. Let your eyes tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Don't listen to what people are telling you. Let your eyes tell you the truth. So here we are in, what are we on? Almost mid-February 2026. And the nation of Great Britain teeters on the edge of something we, certainly me, never thought we'd face again. Civil war. I'm not talking about tanks rolling through the streets or armies clashing on the moors. This would be more insidious, like the Troubles in Northern Ireland, but on steroids. Communities, we will be torn apart from within. And if you don't prepare for the storm that's brewing, you're going to be caught in the downpour, guys. You will be caught in that downpour without an umbrella. You will. You're going to be caught in that downpour without an umbrella. And I know we all like them umbrellas in the downpours. So picture this. It will start small. It always does. It always starts small. A flashpoint. Then a massive protest over immigration, like the Southport riots we saw in, or is it 23? Was it 23 or 24? I can't remember. Economic pain bites harder. Hyperinflation, job losses from poorly managed government policies to artificial intelligence taking over jobs. Energy bills that are absolutely bankrupting us. I said to the woman today in the shop, I was talking to the woman today in the shop, and I would say, yeah, all I've got, all I spend my money on is energy and food. That's it, really. A little bit left over. Crowds aren't just chanting, they're clashing. Police crack down maybe too harshly on some groups, and it's seen as biased. Far-right groups are up in arms. They're up in arms. Self-defense vigilantes from both sides, social media, foreign interference. And look, you know, I mean, I think the best when we talk about foreign interference on social media, I'm going to give you a real world scenario that we all know about, and I think it's quite funny. The biggest, honestly, the biggest Black Lives Matter channel, bigger than the real Black Lives Matter channel, was it an Australian farmer, and he was taking donations and just keeping it. So, like, you've got to understand, you know, you can't trust anything you see on social media, except me, ladies and gentlemen, except me. And sometimes I get it wrong. I do. Sometimes, not often, but sometimes I get it wrong. I always correct myself. I do. I don't try and gaslight you and say, no, I didn't say that. I'll say if I got things wrong. And I get educated as well. You guys come up on the chat. You guys come up and you tell me things. You say, no, Sean, you're wrong about this. I'll say, right, tell me why. And if you present arguments to me that are counter to what I'm saying, I'll accept it. But, you know, we have social media fueled by influencers that I would speculate are paid government shills. Not me, ladies and gentlemen. Yet. And if there's any intelligence services wanting to make contact, I'm not interested. But please throw an email in below. I've got too much integrity for that, guys. If you knew me in my personal life, you would know how many jobs I've thrown under the bus because I just won't go there. And I'm quite proud of that now, actually. I am. When you're in your 30s, you know, when you're in your 30s and you're there, you're trying to make your name for yourself, and somebody comes and they say, hey, Sean, if you do this, I can put 100 grand into any account you tell me to. And you're like, 100 grand? That's like a Ferrari in your 30s. It's, you know, but to screw over your friends, I'm like, no way, buddy. No way. I ain't rolling down that road. But we have social media run by influencers, foreign bots that turn sparks into wildfires. And I do think those sparks would turn into wildfires anyway. I think what these foreign bots and influencers do, they just hurry it up, right? They just hurry it up. Roadblocks, trains derail, power grids, sabotage. Before you know it, it's not protest anymore. It's low-level warfare, grey warfare, sabotage, asymmetric warfare. Bombings in high streets, arson in neighborhoods, pitting communities against each other along ethnic, religious, or class lines. That's where we're going. There's going to be so many divisional lines to this civil war, civil conflict, uncivil war. It's going to be unbelievable. Excuse me. I mean, I may have to ally with with French dukes. I may have to ally with French dukes. If I come on here, right? If I come on the live stream one day, right, and I'm wearing a Jacobean ruff, you know those like Jacobean, the big white things. If I come on, I'm just wearing one of those and I don't mention it. Yeah, I've probably allied with French dukes. Maybe we're in political meltdown, and maybe that lights the fuse with Keir Starmer's government hanging by a thread. They're hanging by a thread. They are. I'll be quite clear. I don't think Starmer's gonna go. I don't think he's going to go himself. He's the type of person. I've done previous emails. I've done previous videos about this. I've talked about his socialist ties. I've talked about his Fabian Society. I've talked about his links to. I've talked about his links to Epstein through Lord Ali. He's not going to go, right? He's not going to tap out, basically. He's going to stay until the next election. And if he's voted out, and I do think the voting system works, actually, guys. I think when that vote gets cast, it's very difficult for, people say, oh, voting's rigged. I don't think it is. Honestly, I don't think voting's rigged. Yes, postal votes. People not having to have ID to vote. Yes, they're massive problems that, you could argue they're rigged. What I'm talking about, voting isn't rigged, is once that ballot is into the box, it's almost impossible for that to go missing. It's almost impossible for that to go missing. So Starmer's government is in absolute meltdown. They're crumbling amid the Epstein-Mandelson scandal. Whispers of resignation are turning into roars. What if a snap election goes pear-shaped, riddled with fraud claims? Far-right nationalists cry rigged. They occupy parliament, blockade motorways, if the military is called in to enforce order, and some refuse or defect. I think that's coming, guys. I think that, listen, I've got more experience than most in the military, and I can guarantee, this is what I can guarantee. I can guarantee that the military, the rank and file soldiers, are not supportive of the government. I can guarantee that 100%. I can guarantee that. We're going to see all sorts of crazy stuff. Loyalties will be split. Cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Newcastle will become battlegrounds. Rural areas, maybe they're going to go rogue. We will be balkanized. Absolutely. We are going to be balkanized. We're going to literally be like, we'll turn ourselves into like 1 hour cities, then half an hour cities, then 15 minutes. We'll do that ourselves. Neighbors will turn on neighbors in a scramble for control and survival. This is civil war, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing civil about it. What's so civil about war anyway? Well, some men just get... What's that Guns N' Roses song? Look at your young man fighting. Well, he gets it. Then don't forget the separatists waiting in the wings. Scotland may be pushing harder for independence. Northern Ireland's reunification talks may implode. Broader skirmishes may erupt. Pipelines, ports, airports, seaports, hospitals, police stations, all seized. External stockpiles are going to be depleted. Personal stockpiles, they will also be depleted. Conscription, maybe we're going to have conscription for some mess in Ukraine or a holy war in the Middle East. A narrative where attacks on mosques and churches, synagogues, spiral out of control into absolute sectarian violence. Russia or others would sneak arms in. They would. You would have people allying with Russia. Now, I talk about Cleethorpes, right? And I've sent emails. Guys, I've actually sent emails out, right? People are saying, oh, Sean, you're a coward. I'm going to stop following you. No. I'm not a coward. I'm doing full-scale white man shit, right? I'm doing big boy white man shit. I'm planning to run a civilization when all this thing falls down. You get your little, you get preppers. You're going to prep your house, prep your family. I'm planning to take back civilization. I'm not planning on fighting I'm not planning on fighting a skirmish. I'm planning on settling a civilization. That's what I'm planning on doing, guys. All right. And I am actively doing this. I sent my first emails today. Whether they get back to me or not, I don't know. But I'm making active movements to do everything legally. Everything legally. Everything has to be done legally, ladies and gentlemen. It does. Everything does. There's enough room. There's enough, you can't do anything. You absolutely can. Muslims came to the United Kingdom and took over legally. Trust me, you can do things legally. There's enough wiggle room to do things legally, all right? So I always talk about Cleethorpes because I do genuinely think 100%, I said this jokingly initially. I said this jokingly initially. Cleethorpes has got like, if anybody knows where Cleethorpes is, you've got Cleethorpes and Grimsby, you've got Grimsby Docks, you've got access to the sea. It's a perfect location. You're in northeast Lincolnshire, flat land all around you. You can see people coming for miles. That is the perfect place to start a fortification. I've sent emails out today. I've sent emails out today. I don't know whether they're going to get back to me, you know. Oh, Sean, you're a coward. You're telling people not. Yes, I'm telling people not to fight. I'm telling people to run. Run, consolidate. Find a legal structure. One of the things I say when I say I'm gonna militarize Cleethorpes is I would militarize Cleethorpes, and then I would reach out to the United States. 100%. I would reach out to the United States. I would reach out to individual states, Texas, Florida. I would say, listen, we're in the shit. Can you give us support? Can you help? Please. We really need your help. We're fighting for his life here. That would rally. That would rally the American call, and they would send us shit. They would send us shit. They would send us shit 100%. And once we start getting that infrastructure and building that unity and building that community, then we've got security. Our women are safe. Our children are safe. We're in a safe location. We can then move into dialogue with Hull. Hey, Hull, do you want to become? Yeah, okay. Then we take Hull. And we expand, but nothing starts without a safe place. You can't do anything without a safe location. Don't forget, this will be happening with other countries as well. Other people, liberals will be saying, oh, we want to be a socialist state of Russia. We want to, and they'll be asking for Russian assistance, and the Russians will be sending them shit. So this will be happening. This isn't fantasy. This is not fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. This is the reality that suddenly we will have food shortages that will turn to desperation and destruction. Polls are already saying, and I've done videos on this, polls are already saying that 1/3 of us already think that this is likely within the next, I think, 5 years, maybe 10 years. I think it was 5 years, but it may be 10. Experts are warning of asymmetric warfare, asymmetric hell, guerrilla warfare, infrastructure chaos, millions displaced, thousands dead each year. I'm saying 2.1 million, low-end estimate of fatalities. Our stable institutions, our NHS, our education system, it will all be gone. They're already fraying, right? They're already fraying. The NHS is over. It really is. The NHS is such a joke. And look, I get it. I know a lot of people on the chat. I know I'm going to get a lot of negativity from this, right? But the NHS is over. It's not fit for purpose anymore. And I get it, right? My granddad, right? He had a heart attack and he was revived 3 times in an ambulance. He was an NHS ambulance. He was revived 3 times in an NHS ambulance. There's nothing. There's no amount of money. No amount. And I wasn't even in the UK when this happened. I was in, I think I was in Baghdad. There's no amount of money. There's no amount of money that I would have paid to have an extra 5 minutes with my granddad. No amount of money. Everything I've got, I would throw it now to just have 5. Jesus, that was hard. That's hard. Is somebody cutting onions in here? Who's cutting onions? I think, who's cutting onions? What are you guys cutting onions? Wow. Yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. So I get it, right? I'm also saying what happens Rotherham Hospital, you know, Doncaster Hospital. Not so, you know, I mean, what is it? Sheffield, it's not Sheffield, Great Northern Great Hospital, Northern General, the Northern General Hospital. Maybe that's not so bad. But certainly, you know, there's a lot of hospitals, and what happens when a hospital is failing? They just give them more money. Can you imagine if you was a business, right? If you was a business, right? If you're a business and you're buying something for £10 and you're selling it for £5, what would happen? You'd go out of business, right? You'd be like, yeah, that doesn't work, mate. You need to either like get more money for your shit or get your shit for cheaper or give a better product, right? That's what would happen in the private industry. In the NHS, in the government, what they do is they say, oh, you're failing. Yeah, why are you failing? Well, we're buying these things here at £10 and then we're selling them at £5. Oh, right, that's my fault. Here's more money. That's what happens in the NHS. You just give them more money. So I'm telling people now of Britain, prepare for the storm. Whatever essentials you need, food, water, medication, torches, enough for weeks, days, whatever. If supplies chain snap, learn basic first aid. That is a huge one, all right? Learning basic first aid, that's like a massive... But to learn these things, like I know a lot of you guys on the chat earlier on, you were saying, Sean, tell us this, tell us that. I can't tell you these things. You have to go and learn them, right? You can't do these things on PowerPoint. You can't. You can't do these things on PowerPoint or live stream. For example, when I'm teaching, I don't let people record. I don't let people record. Now, one of the reasons why I don't let people record when I'm teaching is because sometimes I will let people do something wrong. I will. I let people, I know it's, you know, and the reason I will let people do something wrong so they can learn from their mistakes, right? Now, if I'm letting someone do something wrong, it's because that's my TP, right? That's my TP. Training point. TP's training point. So I'll say, right, okay, lads, close in. Look at that there. What do you think's happened? And they look at it and they're like, I don't know if it's a tourniquet or whatever. If they've put it on wrong, I can say, look, that's wrong because of X, Y, and Z. Now, if somebody's filming that, then what happens is I get people say, oh, look, Sean's teaching people how to put tourniquets on wrong. I'm not. It's a training point, and I'm gonna correct that afterwards. But it's just, you know, so you can't do these things online. You really need to be, really need to do classes. You need to do actual classes. You know, you need to go there. You need to be involved. You need to get around things. You need to have a competent instructor, which are harder than competent instructors are harder than you may think you can find. You know, not all instructors are equal. Learn basic first aid, secure your home, build a community network with your neighbors, people you trust, stay informed. Question everything, ladies and gentlemen. Even what I'm saying, question what I'm saying. You know, literally question what I'm saying. If you think what I'm saying is wrong, question me, call me out. I welcome that. I always say this on all my live streams. I always say to people, if you think what I'm saying is wrong, be polite about it. Obviously, don't be a douche. Nobody likes a douche. You know, you just say, hey, Sean, I don't think, like, for example, I did a video earlier on. What was it? Contingency planning, right? Contingency planning, preparation, prepping 101, contingency planning. If you think I'm wrong on anything I've said on there, call me out. You know, call me out. And if there's any subject matter experts on here who want to call me out as well and say, I don't know what I'm talking about, absolutely fine. Call me out. I'll even let you come in and we'll do a split screen. You can call me out in person. I think everybody needs to ask themselves this one simple question. One simple question, right? Would you be ready if everything went down now? Right now. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not at the next election. Not this summer. Now. What would happen now? What is your immediate action drill? What's your immediate action if everything goes wrong? Everything goes wrong now. Immediate action, rioting on the streets, cars burned down. You can't leave your apartment. Do you think that's likely? Well, it's maybe not that likely right now, but I think as time moves forward, that likelihood gets higher. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are talking about Britain on the brink. You guys need to prepare for the storm. What storm am I talking about, good sir? I'm talking about the Civil War. I'm talking about British government is in absolute freefall. We are being replaced on the streets. We're being replaced by equality. I watched the documentary earlier saying that Anglo-Saxons didn't even exist. How dare you? How dare you claim that my ancestors did not exist, good sir? Right. Right, let me jump down. Galloway Raider is saying, you did ask, Sean. What did I ask? I don't know what I asked. Tell me what I asked. I need more context. Zoe is saying, oh, UB40 a few years back there. Good, but nothing of this. Right, okay. Are we talking about music? Are we talking about music? Right, I'm just going to jump up in the chat, guys. Crosshatch is saying, best thing I can tell you is go talk to the people. Is that at? Is that, yeah, I think that means at the top of your community, no matter who it is, and start getting together. You'll be surprised how welcoming a gift is to NPCs. Yeah. So, you know what? Do you know what, Crosshatch? That is a fantastic comment, right? You know, when I was in the military, when I was in the military and I did something wrong, if I'd done something wrong and I knew I was going to get a bollocking, I would turn up to the office, right, with a crate of beer. I would. If I'd done something wrong, right, which it happened several times in my military career, right, and I had to go to the office and like, right, Raven, you need to go down to the office at 2:00, and I'm like, oh God, I know exactly what that's for. Take a crate of beer, right, go into the office with a crate of beer and just say, hey, boss, I've just brought you a crate of beer because I thought it might be thirsty in here. There's no way someone can bollock you if you've just given them a crate of beer. He looked, you know, I always remember this guy who was South African. I'm not going to mention his name. Great guy, South African. Fantastic guy, actually. I miss working with him because he was nuts. So this was the guy, right? This is like, you know, this guy was in charge of us, right? We was in a hotel in Salalah, which is on the south coast of Oman. The hotel was called what's it called? Crown Plaza. Now, the Crown Plaza Hotel, just outside the Crown Plaza Hotel, there's like maybe 4 or 5 like bars or nightclubs. Yeah, you can't drink in Muslim countries. Yeah, you definitely can. And I remember seeing the guy in charge, the boss, this big Muslim bouncer in a black dish dash, in a, you know, the black dress, grabbing headlock, and he just threw him down these stairs. But anyway, sorry, that's a total different side quest. But yes, absolutely, take people gifts. Just be nice. Always try and be nice, guys. Always try and be nice. Right, let me jump up and get some more comments. Danielle is saying, Sky, Epstein latest, King has profound concern over Andrew claims and Palace ready to support police. Absolute lies from the establishment. Andrew will never face police investigation. I don't think so. Look, guys, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about, look, are we going to address the elephant in the room here? Are we going to address the elephant in the room? And the real elephant in the room is the connection between Jimmy Savile and King Charles. Are we all just forgetting that? Do we all just forget have we all just forgot that? Oh, Savile's dead. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, you know what? Savile's dead. And he's not a prince anymore. He's the king. Do we all just forget that? Just Mister with a fantastic thumbnail that I think he's changed. He's saying, just make sure everything is sterile and you keep. I don't know what that means. Are we talking about making beer? That sounds like we're talking about making beer. I don't know. Maybe we're making beer. I don't know. Ruben is saying, may your granddad's memory be a blessing, Sean. Oh, thank you so much for that, Ruben. I appreciate that. Listen, I thought somebody was cutting onions earlier. I did. I thought when I talked about my granddad, and he died of a heart attack. But before he died of an heart attack, he had a heart attack they had to revive him 3 times in an ambulance. And nothing can take that away. Nothing can take that away. Right, let me jump down to the bottom. I think I may need to run for a wee. I think I do, guys. I think I need to run for a wee. Right. Googleinos is saying DWP permanent secretary stepped down after care. No. Right, listen. I literally need to go for a wee. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, guys, and I'll be straight back. So 1 minute, I'll be back. Right, let me try and get this. Oh, hang on a minute. Lisa Jane is saying, Sean, read Googly's post. I think I am reading it. Hang on. Where am I going now? Where am I going? Right, everything's gone wrong. Everything's gone wrong. Right, Sean, read Googly's post. Yeah, listen, we are just hit by scandal after scandal in the United Kingdom. We really are. Let me just read this. Right, okay, so from 1 hour ago, let me share this with you fine people. Let me share this with you absolutely fine, beautiful, amazing people. DWP permanent secretary to stand down after carers allowance. Look at him! Look at his face! Peter Schofield. No. Isn't he Isn't he the guy who got sorry, I'll just read what he said. Right, okay, whatever. Peter Schofield tells staff he will leave the department for personal reasons. The government's top welfare official is to step down after his department's handling of a long-standing benefits failure that plunged thousands into debt and became known as the carers allowance scandal. Sir Peter Schofield, the permanent secretary at the Department for Work and Pensions, announced to staff today, on Monday, that he is to step down in July for personal reasons. The DWP has become under increasing. I don't listen, guys. I don't know this, so I'm just gonna read this. Has come under increasing scrutiny since a Guardian investigation revealed leadership shortcomings, unfairly landed thousands of unpaid carers with hefty bills, and in some cases, fraud convictions for carers' allowance overpayments. This is disgusting. The impact on carers caused public outrage and was linked to the post office scandal. I actually got hit by that post office scandal. Some carers reported bad thoughts after they were caught up in a system one described like being at the whim of a faceless machine. If you guys want to know what the artificial intelligence takeover is going to feel like, that sentence there, at the whim of a faceless machine, it wouldn't be hard to it would be hard to say that's not like it. Did UP say that his departure was unrelated? You know what? It's unrelated, just like the guy from West Midlands Police decided to take an early retirement. Remains committed. I don't know what this is. A career civil servant for 35 years, so he's never done anything, right? He does not mention the Karens. Right, okay, right, guys, this is a huge article. What we can take from this, right, is if it's like the post office scandal. So I actually got caught up in this post office scandal myself, as I'm sure a lot of people did. I went into the post office, right, to get I went in, I think I just bought a car, or I was changing I can't remember. Why did I just, something to do with my car. I needed to do something on my car. And he said, you need to give me your driver. I went to tax my car. And he said, you need to give me your driver's license. I said, not a chance. He said, you need to give it me, and that needs to be sent off. I said, mate, you're winding me up. And not a chance am I giving you my driver's license. The guy, he was like an Indian guy. I said, mate, I am not giving you my driver's license. You can look at it. And he's saying, no, you have to hand your driver's license over, and I'm going to send that in. Now, we know now that this was the computer making a mistake. How do we know that wasn't AI trying to take over? But look, guys, you know, I think the government, and I think whoever's behind this thing, right? I think they are trying to, I think they're trying to cause carnage, chaos, and mayhem. They're trying to push as many people onto state dependencies as possible, because if you've got more people on state dependencies, guess what? You've got more people that work for the state. That's a big elephant. I hope you're not referring to David Lammy. I hope you're not referring to David Lammy. Daughter of Christ is saying Raven is the new Negan. What's Negan? I don't even know what Negan is. Give me a, all right, what is Negan? Number 9. Negan most commonly refers to the Dutch word for the number 9. Okay, right. I am the new number 9. I'll take that, guys. I'll take being the number 9. I don't know what that means. Maybe in esoteric circles it means something else. I don't know. But I'll go with it. I'll accept that as I'm the new number 9. Okay. Right. I'm just going to jump down, guys. There's loads of comments on the chat. I'm Negan. Right. Or maybe I spelled it wrong. Did I spell it wrong? What is Negan? Oh, Negan Smith is a central character and primary antagonist in The Walking Dead, portrayed by Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the brutal, charismatic leader of the Saviors. he subjugated communities for resources before being imprisoned and later navigating a redemption arc. So somebody from the elite. Am I from someone from the war? I've never watched The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is one of those things I like. I look at it, right, and I'm like, right, if I start watching this, it's going to be game over for me because I will just binge the whole thing. Sean, who did Epstein work for? It's like that thing, right? What's it called? In Austin Powers, where he's got the guy and he's fighting him in the toilet and he said, who does number 2 work for? So if you listen to mainstream media, right? If you listen to, okay, first of all, I don't know. I'm going to throw that out there. I do not know who Jeffrey Epstein worked for. It does look like there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that Jeffrey Epstein worked for the Israeli government, the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence service. Now, I don't know. I genuinely don't know who he was working for. I really don't. Mainstream media in the United Kingdom are saying Russia. I don't believe that for 1 second. I really don't. Yeah, do you know what? I think that's the best comment there. Epstein worked everyone. I think that's the best comment. I don't think, like, when you're at these levels of, like, high-level debauchery and satanic rituals and child... What's the word I'm looking for? What word can I use that won't get me flagged? Inhalation, intacation. That's not a word, so I don't think I can be flagged for a word that's not a word. Child intacation. That's what I'm talking about. Child intakes. When we're talking about this stuff, I don't think it has a religion. I don't think it has a, oh, hang on. Right, what's going on? Have we got beef on here? Give me a second. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? Let's not be throwing nastiness in the comments, right? I'm giving you guys as much up-to-date information as I can. Right, okay. The elephant in the room is that Sean constantly ignores Israel. I literally just said Israel. I literally just said them, right? I literally just said that. I'm not ignoring any elephants in the room, right? No elephants are being ignored. But what I do want to comment on is, let's talk about something, right, that is as big as what we're talking about. Right? Look, we're going Epstein, right? We're going Epstein files, right? So let's just say that half of it, let's just say the bad half, right, is, it's all bad. Let's just say the worst half is true, right? Let's just say the worst half is true. Do you really think that those bad people care about borders? Do you really think those people care about what God someone worships? And I think this is where people are going along the wrong lines. People are going along the wrong lines, right? I'm gonna leave it there because I'm gonna do another video on this. I'm gonna do like a longer video on this, and every time I say I'm gonna do a video on it, some more information comes out, and I have to do another video. Right, let me jump up and yeah, same as Robert Maxwell. A good example actually. So Robert Maxwell was, definitely working for the Russians. He was definitely working for the Israelis. He was definitely working for MI5 and MI6. So he was working for everyone, right? And I'm trying to look at things as objective as possible. But look, guys, we're going on a side quest here. I've done lots of this. I've done lots of this. I've talked about this lots. Oh, hang on. Siligalade is saying, Michael, please tell us, how did Israel benefit from Epstein? Okay, I'm going to answer that. And first of all, I don't know, but you could say and you could argue that if Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israel, then the information that was gained, and we don't know this, was passed on. Equally, I've not seen any evidence of that. Let me give you an example here, guys. Listen, everybody's jumping to wild conclusions, right? Let me give you an example of this. Hang on. I'm sure I got that up. No, I've deleted it. Right, there we are. Right, okay. So let me give you an example of how things get blown out of proportion, right? Just bear with me, guys, all right? Bear with me before everybody starts fighting, right? Let me give you guys an example of how things get blown out of proportion, right? So this is allegedly, right, an email between someone, right, and Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so this is allegedly, right? So this is what the email reads, and everybody's saying. In fact, let me move back. Let me go back to this actually. What am I doing? No. Right. So this is this channel here, Truth Poll. They've got a blue tick. Breaking: an interesting email file emerged of a redacted individual reaching out to Jeffrey Epstein to talk about classified Comet Ison and the ninth planet to prepare as much as possible. So let's read what it actually says, right? So you've got to put everything into context, right? You've got to look at things and say, right, where's the evidence of that? Literally, where's the evidence of that? So let's read the email. Hi, Jeffrey. And remember, let's be clear. Anybody can. I could do this. I could get AI to make me something like this. And I did it on a TikTok video and I had the image behind me. Hi, Jeffrey. It's me again. Who? You know, I learned from you. If it can't hurt, then go for it. Ask, do. If Jeffrey Epstein's telling people to go for it, ask and do, I don't think that's a bad thing. So far, so good. Nothing nefarious in this email, right? I wanted to reach out to you, to ask you what your science friends think about the comet Ison, ninth planet Nibiru, etc. I know it's probably classified information, but I figured it was worth a shot. Asking you about to see if there's any information. I guess you'll be heading to NM this winter. Lol. I feel scared and sad. Any advice, like good old times? I feel the need to live my life now, prepare as much as possible, but living here in Jersey City on my $35,000, I'm going to assume, salary. WTF can I do? Right. If somebody was to show me that email, I would say, right, if somebody was to show me that email, right, I would say that's a conversation that people had when they were drunk, talking about Comet Ison, the ninth planet Nibiru, because we all talk about that when we're drunk. And at the end of it, what can I do living in New Jersey City on my 35 grand a year salary? They're asking for a job. That's what I'm getting from this email, right? This email here, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting somebody asking for a job. But you've got these channels that are blowing these things out of proportion. Oh, look, it's proof. Planet 9 and Nibiru are on their way. Doom, you've got to prepare as much as possible. I'm not getting that. I don't know the context. Did Jeffrey Epstein even reply? Or is he like, oh, it's just somebody looking for a job? I used to get these emails all the time. They're trying to make a conversation with you. So look at it. Let's restructure this, okay? Hi, Jeffrey, it's me again. So clearly this person sent more emails, previous emails, right, that we don't know. I learned a lot from you. If it doesn't hurt you, then go for it. Ask, do. Because maybe Jeffrey Epstein's giving this person some advice, and I think that's good advice. I do. Oh, Sean, Raven agrees with Epstein. Scandal. Listen, guys, we've got to put everything in context, right? I think that's true. If something can't hurt you, then you should go for it. You should ask. You should find out. You should do it. You only really regret things that you don't do, opportunities that you miss. So that's what I think that is, guys. And I just wanted to share that with you as like an example of how people are blowing things out of proportion here and how wild things are getting, okay? Right. David King is saying Anunnaki stuff, Nibiru. Yeah. I don't want to go down that track now, guys. Let's ground this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's ground ourselves, all right? Because whether you think, right, whether you think there's a secret society, you know, of Israelis controlling the world, whether you think it's reptilian shapeshifters, whether you think it's, you know, the Fabian Society, doesn't really matter, okay, does it? It doesn't really, on the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. Things are bad, right? You know when you're trying to run down the street to get your newspaper and a bottle of milk and you're being chased? Have you seen that? You know that scene on Indiana Jones where he's running and there's all the people chasing him and they're throwing spears at him and that? Can you imagine Indiana Jones saying, like, these guys behind me aren't the real enemy. The real enemy's the Germans who stole my artifact. No, the real enemy is the people who are going to do you harm immediately, right? That's the real enemy. So let's get back on track, ladies and gentlemen, right? Let's get back on track. Because Britain is on the brink. There's no denying it now. Britain is on the brink and people need you, me, everybody needs to prepare for the storm. This is a civil war warning and it's not going to be very civil. What's so civil about war anyway? You know, the British government right now is in absolute freefall. We are, guys. We're in absolute freefall. Two things are going to happen, right? Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. 7 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen. Update from 7 minutes ago. Hang on. Update from 7 minutes ago. I'll share this with you. So we've got an update from this is still going on, guys. This is going on right now. Keir Starmer is saying, I'm not prepared to walk away from my mandate. Listen, I know that Keir Starmer does not walk away from many mandates. Yeah, you know where I'm going with that, right? You hear me, fam? We can bring you more now of what Keir Starmer told his MPs, according to extracts from shared Downing Street documents. I have had my detractors every step along the way, and I've got them now, Starmer said. Detractors that don't want a Labour government in at all, and certainly not want to succeed. But I'll tell you this, lads, I'll tell you this. My father was a tool maker. No, he didn't say that. Maybe he did, I don't know, later on. After having fought so hard for the chance to change our country, he has absolutely changed it. Listen, say what you want about Keir Starmer, but he's definitely changed the country. There's no denying that. I'm not prepared to walk away from my mandate. He doesn't have a mandate. I think like 20% of people voted in the last election. If he doesn't want to walk away from his mandate, right, have an election. Literally have an election, see what happens. See if you get maybe Keir Starmer thinks he'll get a bigger mandate. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll get 100% turnout and 100% votes. So he's saying, I'm not prepared to walk away from my mandate and my responsibility to my country or my investors. Oh, no, sorry, he didn't say that. He said, I'm not willing to walk away from my responsibilities to my country, my people, and Lord Ali, who's been paying my bills. No, he didn't say that, guys. Sorry. He didn't say that. He said, Sorry. Just, he's not willing to walk away from the responsibility to my country or to plunge us into chaos as others have done. He described the battle with reform as UK's fight for our lives. And he's right. He's absolutely right. But I don't think he understands which side of history he's on. The fight of our times. Stormer ended by saying, I'll tell you this, lad. Oh my God, he's going full Lord of the Rings. He's going Gimli. He's going Gimli. I'll tell you this, as long as I have breath in my body, I'll be in that fight. I don't think he understands what fight means, what that word means. On behalf of the country that I love and I believe in, against those who want to tear it up. That is my fight. That is my fight. That is all of our fight. And we're in this together. Sounds a bit gay to me. Yeah, well, that's what Keir Starmer said. Keir Starmer from 7 minutes ago, and that's breaking, has said he is not willing to give up. He's not willing to give up. He's not willing to walk away. He's going to fight. He's going to fight for his political survival, as we say. Right, let me jump to the bottom. Oh, hang on a minute. Sean, please read It's All Gone Wrong post. Right, where's it all gone right? I can't even... Can somebody cut and paste this All Gone Wrong post? Sean, please read It's All Gone Wrong post. Right, hang on. Right, let me find this. It's All Gone Wrongs. Oh, there we are. Sean, is this one? Is this the one? Sean, if you get a minute, please watch the William Sasha Riley interview. Can you send links on here? I don't know if you guys can send links on here. Is that the one? Is that the one there? Is that the one? Right, let me find this William Sasha Riley interview. I'll just do a search for this, guys, and hopefully I'll get this up. But I can't. Right, I've got. Hang on. Maybe I can use this one. Yeah, I can use that. Where can I find this? I can't find this anywhere. I'm looking on X and I'm getting so many different things. William Sasha Riley. No, I'm literally searching for this now, guys. Right, I've got the I and the E the wrong way around. Let's see if that helps. No, can it's all gone wrong. Can you give me like where can I watch this interview? Like I don't know where I don't know where I can find this interview. I'm trying to search for it now. It's on YouTube. Fans to listen to. Okay, right. I'm gonna have to do that at another time. Let me try and find that. Let me try and find this now on YouTube. Sorry, I'm just searching for this. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So okay, so I'm looking at William Sasha Riley now, and there's 6 videos posted. Right, this is like okay, this is like 6 hours of this is at least, no, it's not, probably like 4 hours, maybe 4. This is maybe 4, yeah, maybe 3.5 hours at the least. This is 3.5 hours, guys. I will look into that. But obviously I can't show 3.5 hours. I can't do 3.5 hours now, guys. I can't do 3.5 hours. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's the one. It's absolutely shocking. Look, guys, tomorrow morning, right, when I come onto the live stream, in the morning, I'm going to do the normal live stream. And then after the live stream, I'm going to come straight back on like I did today. And I'm going to do, I know I keep saying this, but every time I keep saying this, more information comes out. So I have to think, all right, I need to add that video. So where the video, the initial live stream I'm going to do tomorrow afternoon, it started off as just going to be a 10-minute monologue. Hey guys, look at this video. I think it's noteworthy. What do you think? That was literally what it was going to be. As I start doing stuff, more and more information comes out, right? And I have to readjust then. I have to add more information. So it's good. I think tomorrow morning, I'm going to come on at my normal time at 10. I'll probably have a little snooze, not a little snooze, a little break and have a sandwich. And I'll come straight back on and do another long set video. So tomorrow morning, I think there's going to be 2 long set videos. I think there's going to be 2 long set videos. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you fantastic people. Britain is on the brink. We are absolutely on the brink right now. We are on the brink to a swizzle. And people need to prepare for the storm, because you do not want to be caught out. You do not want to be caught in the hurricane without an umbrella. You don't. You do not want to be caught in a hurricane without an umbrella. This is a civil war warning, as we are watching the British government unfold right in front of our eyes. That's what we are watching right now in real time. You, me, everyone, we are watching the beginning to a potential fall of the West. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. Right, Michael, you just got yourself blocked. Guys, don't be disrespectful, honestly. Honestly, right, Michael, you're going to have to make a new profile now, right? For what? Do you know what? I'm going to give a little speech to Michael before I block him, right? I don't want to block people, right? I don't want to block people, right? There are definite links between Jeffrey Epstein and Israel, right? There are. There's no denying that, whether that is current Israeli government or not. Now, as we move forwards through time, if more information comes out, I will absolutely say it. I'm not convinced of a lot of these conspiracies, right? So if we're going to do HH, then we all know what that means. And Michael, you're going to have to make a new profile, because I'm sorry, Michael. Just make a new profile and come back and just be nice. Just be nice, all right? Literally just be nice. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, right? You're getting blocked. I don't like blocking people, guys. I get it, in the chat, people are having a little bit of banter and, back and forths. But it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Anyway, he's been blocked. He's going to have to make a new profile and come back. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for you fine people, if you're on and you've not done so already, because I've just lost a subscriber now. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit those bell notifications, and I will see you guys in the morning. And I bid you all good evening. If I can turn, I can't. Right. I can't turn you guys off. Right, sometimes it does this. I don't know if it's my internet connection. Maybe I'm just staying on. Maybe I'm supposed to stay on. End live stream. End live stream. Fuck. Right, I might just have to turn my computer on. Sometimes it does this when the connection's not so good. I don't know if I'm going. Am I going? Maybe I am. Shall I do a dance?